Hello, welcome to lesson 68. This is called naming decimal numbers. Now, we have already gotten into decimal numbers and naming them. Whenever we've already labeled some of our place values and we've compared with meters and decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters, we have our tenths place, which is usually where we put our centimeters because it's a tenth of a meter. Or a decimeter, I apologize, this is where we put our decimeters because it's a tenth of a meter. Then we have our hundredths place, which is like our centimeters since it's a hundredth of a meter. And then we have our thousandths place, which is like our millimeters because it's a thousandth of a meter. So whenever we name our place values, it's very, very important to know these place values. So I would like you to go ahead and write those down in your notes. I will be checking. We break them apart separately. So whenever we have our whole numbers and our decimal numbers, we say our whole number completely separate, and our decimal point is what separates it. We use the word and whenever we read it. So we say 12 and, not point or decimal. We say 12 and, just like when we have dollars and cents. That's also separated by a decimal point. 12 and 5 tenths, because there's a 5 in our tenths place. So we always name the last decimal place value, and that's why it's important to know these. So we say 12 and 5 tenths. So we're going to go ahead and look at the example. Starting with example 1, we're going to write this using words. Again, I break it apart. Whole number is separate from the decimal number, so I know that this is 12. I want you to go ahead and write this down also. We have 12, decimal point says and. Then I read the number just like normal. Just like I did here, break it apart as separate. This is just 5. This is 35. So I'm going to say 12 and 30, hyphen in between numbers 21 through 99, still 35. And then I say the very last place value. My 5 is in the hundredths place. So I say 35 hundredths. It's very tight to see, but it does say 12 and 35 hundredths. So example 2, we're going to use digits to write the number 10 and 12 hundredths. I want you to go ahead and try that on your own. Going to write 10, and our decimal point is what and is, so 10 and 12 hundredths. So I need to just make sure that my 12 ends in the hundredths place, which it does, so I put it right next to the decimal point. And the last example says to write this using words. I have 2, decimal point says and then I'll show you how to do this last part because we do have 32. We read this as normal. I'm not going to say 0, 32. I'm just going to say 32, but it ends in the thousandths place. So I'm going to say 2, and because that's where our decimal point is, $32,000ths. Again, it's very important to know your decimal place values when naming your decimal numbers. Decimal point always says and, we don't say point, so that is going to be completely incorrect whenever you say that now. Say 12 and 35 hundredths, this says 10 and 12 hundredths, and this says 2 and 32 thousandths because it ends in the thousandths place. Thank you very much for paying attention. I want you to go ahead and do the practice set problems that are A, B, C, D. We'll do more practice set problems in class, and I'll be checking your notes. Thank you very much.